As I was growing up, I realized that I love cities. I have always been attracted by the mysterious vibes of city bustle and the noise of busy streets. I like when the city doesn't fall asleep at night, but rather wakes up. It turned out there is one city on Earth that is very different from all the others. Born at the intersection of trade routes between Europe and Asia 2,500 years ago, Istanbul today is a unique, one-of-a-kind city. Me and Adelia spent more than 2 weeks trying to understand Istanbul, and this episode is our first ever video made for the English YouTube channel, so we hope you'll enjoy it. Hey everyone from Istanbul. We finally met, we haven't seen each other for 1.5 months. And now we are in this huge city. It's 4th or 5th biggest city by population in the world.
Oh really? I didn't know.
Although the ranking positions slightly vary, Istanbul is without a doubt an enormous city, with a population over 15 million people. In the course of the next 2 weeks, the population of Istanbul will increase by another 6%, because we decided to explore the city with our friends from Berlin. By the way, before we quit our jobs and started traveling full-time, we have been living in Berlin for almost 7 years. So now, surrounded by our friends, we definitely felt some Berlin vibes that we miss so much.
Школьники собрались просто. Как в школьном лагере каком-то.
The last months I spent in my hometown in Kazan. I came home for the New Year's holidays, ate delicious traditional food, so it was a small break from our non-stop traveling. So now we are here.
Well, the restaurants are open but only for takeaway. But if you ask for it, they're gonna let you in, but not close to the windows because of the police.
So we ordered Circassian dumplings with meat, some chicken spread with walnuts. I got a huge portion of grilled chicken, I thought it would be smaller. Also some rice, french fries and grilled vegetables. This looks so delicious. Small update, it was Anatolian Circassian cuisine. Everything was super delicious. Feels like we ate some homemade natural food. Very good. From the very first minute, Istanbul made an impression of a very ambiguous and complex city. Look, here is the funny thing. My hometown Odessa in Ukraine and Istanbul are separated just by the Black Sea. But it feels like you're in a whole different world, with a pronounced Oriental culture, unfamiliar and sometimes strange traditions, and, without a doubt, a fabulous atmosphere.
Блять, это такой уебищный город. В смысле?
А что тебе не нравится, Дим?
Что не нравится? Вчера воды не купили. Базар непонятно где. Все хотят тебя наебать.
Okay, finally everyone is getting ready. In general, when you travel with a bunch of friends, it can take forever to leave the house in the morning. With that being said, at some point we finally went exploring the streets of Istanbul.
Ну я вас уже полчаса жду.
Good morning from Istanbul. It's very warm and quiet outside, streets are empty.
In Turkey they drink, obviously, Turkish coffee. Actually, Turkish coffee is something between regular coffee and espresso. They serve it in these small cups. It's very strong and a little bit bitter. But honestly, I like Turkish coffee more than espresso. Because espresso you don't actually drink, you just take a sip and it's gone, like nothing happened. If you have to pick just one place to visit in Istanbul, that would be Grand Bazaar. This place is huge, it's one of the biggest closed markets in the entire world. And all of that because Istanbul was an important city and it was on the trade routes between Europe and Asia. You can buy literally everything here: textile, food, some antique stuff. And just 150 years ago, slaves were also sold here.
We are not going to buy anything here. We just wanted to see this place, feel the atmosphere, and yes, this market turned out to be a very unique and vibrant place. But actually I will buy all of the tea and dry fruits, because this is what I really love.
Just a few minutes since we arrived here and we already are overwhelmed by all this variety of goods, of textile, of food. There is literally everything here. And everything seems to be handmade and locally produced.
Apart from all handmade cute stuff, there are a lot of fake products too. Look at these Rolex watches or Cartier bracelets. Of course, you can also find here all Prada, Chanel and Gucci items. One more interesting fact about this bazaar is that it is located on 66 streets. So every small shop has its own address, which you can type in and search in Google Maps. This place looks like a kingdom of carpets. And the store owner was very kind and talked to us about these carpets. There are hundreds of carpets in this small place and all of them are handmade. Can you believe that? Look at these genie lamps.
Fancy schmancy.
It's a very vibrant place and we've been walking here for an hour, maybe two, I don't know. It's also very interesting that this bazaar is divided in different sections. And right now we are in the antique part. Here you can find some vintage goods.
Somehow, when I see these golden jewelries, I want to put all of them on and shine like a magpie. Just look at this, gorgeous. Can I try?
Очень приятно.
Everyone here is trying to get noticed by potential customers, but people are very friendly. You don't get a feeling that people are trying to sell you and because of that they're friendly. I think they're just friendly. Take this one, my friend. This one with pistachio.
Okay.
Very welcome, you're very welcome, I guess. Come in inside, let's drink some tea. You don't have to buy anything, just drink. This tea is granat and this is barbaris. This is a little bit sour. This tea is blueberry and this is apple. And also I'll make for you mango. Every tea here has a purpose. Smell it, please, smell it.
Smells very good.
This tea makes you very calm. If you're getting anxious in the evening, you know, after work, then drink some tea and very good sleep, very good sleep. And this tea is orange and green tea. This is for diet, you know. And this is love tea. It's very good for the heart, very good. And this tea is for stomach. If you have some stomach problems, just drink this tea. And this is jasmine. You put it in the hot water and it's just getting like a rose, like huge, and it's very good for the blood. And this tea is for joints. If your joints hurt, just drink this tea. This one is also calming tea, for make you calm.
This guy invited us to his shop and we tried lots of different things here. He gave us some chai and we tried all of these locums.
Oh, these nuts are so delicious. Can I try this one? And this one you have to sniff for 10 minutes. It's anise crystal.
Нужен кому-то кристалл из эвкалипта?
Ты же любишь кристаллы, Дима.
Ой!
Вау.
Вау! О, офигеть!
It's like very minty candy.
It literally kicks you, you can feel the punch.
Вау, это штырит. Два.
Три.
Это вот на штырь, отвечаю.
Нюхнул, оп.
We should give it to Dima in the morning, so he can be more positive. What I realized is that you really have to be careful when talking to someone, because once you're in the shop, invited for a free tea, then you probably have to buy something and it's really hard to say no. If there is one place in Istanbul where you can definitely catch some coronavirus, then it's most probably here in Grand Bazaar. Many people are wondering how to travel in Turkey during the pandemic and what the situation is here. Well, people wear masks and you can't dine in. That's basically all restrictions. The life is going on like it's been before, there is no social distancing. Another life hack if you go to the Grand Bazaar: don't wear these bright colors, bright jackets, because everyone's trying to sell something to Dima, to talk to him, because he gets all the attention. I'm not sure if it's the largest market in the world, but it's definitely the largest one I have been to.
I am overwhelmed. Everything is so bright and colorful and loud and delicious. Very vibrant place. We became just hypnotized, so you have to be careful, because people first invite you to their shops, talk to you, and at the end they want you to buy something.
And near the market we found a really cool place to get some food, and there are mostly locals here, and I think we're the only tourists. So this huge sandwich with a fresh fish inside costs around $1. Just $1.
Finally, we are home. I think we are just going to drink some chai and eat lokum.
Well guys, that's it for today. See you tomorrow. It has recently become kinda cool to skip touristy places when you travel. But in Istanbul, it's simply unacceptable not to be a regular tourist, at least for one day.
Istanbul is the city of mosques. There are 3,000 mosques here. The most important ones are Blue Mosque and Sophia Mosque. We are now in a square between these two mosques, and it is very beautiful here. Like in every mosque, you have to take off the shoes here. Even though this is a very touristic mosque and there are hundreds of people, everyone is patiently waiting and taking off their shoes. We came to the main and one of the biggest mosques in Turkey, the Blue Mosque. Unfortunately, it is being renovated.
Well, it's not clear yet when the Blue Mosque will be completely renovated, but nearby there is another mosque, which, without any exaggeration, amazed us at first glance. Even the drone footage doesn't fully show the scale of this massive construction, but most of all, the Sophia Mosque impressed us from the inside. It's definitely the biggest religious building I've ever been to. I feel the greatness, I feel the power of this place. And we just read that originally it was a Christian church, and then for a long time it was a museum, and recently it became a mosque. It's so beautiful inside, all this majestic architecture, mosaics. Like, usually I don't really like this kind of places, but here I'm honestly impressed. You can still find some Christian attributes, like some old Christian mosaics, but obviously most of the attributes are Islamic because it's a mosque. In some cities, the main street can fully convey the vibes and sometimes even tell interesting stories of the city. Unfortunately, this is not the case in Istanbul. I had an impression that Istiklal street has lost all the charm that it might have had just a few decades ago. Well, many thanks to the fast fashion stores, fast food restaurants, taxis and those who call them directly to the pedestrian zone. But nevertheless, there are still some vibrant elements, like this old-fashioned tram.
This tram is something like a tourist attraction. It goes through the main street and it is kind of a challenge for tourists to catch it, take a photo and maybe ride the tram.
Istanbul is the only city in the world located on two continents. Even though there is a bridge and also a tunnel connecting two parts of the city, you can still use a small ferry that goes between Europe and Asia. Okay, let's be honest. In the beginning, I didn't believe that it would be so beautiful here. I thought it's just a regular ferry that transports people from one part of the city to another one, from Europe to Asia. I was so wrong. We were hypnotized by the huge amount of seagulls that just freeze in the air. This is so awesome. That is definitely a must-do in Istanbul. Just one important advice, go straight to the back of the ship, because there is a guy with a bag full of bread and he's feeding the seagulls. So they're not flying just for fun, they're actually looking for bread. First we were a little bit confused and we went to the front of the ship, but all the beautiful stuff happens in the back of the ship.
At the end of our stay in Istanbul, we arrived to its Asian part. I have mixed feelings about this part of the city. On the one hand, it is very vibrant and interesting. Food is 2 or 3 times cheaper than on the European side. But on the other hand, it was too chaotic, dirty and seemed even dangerous to me. So I think I wouldn't prefer to live there.
I liked it though, and the food was so cheap. It was more diverse and I think it was just more food. But in general, I think if you travel in Istanbul, then it makes sense to live a little bit in one part and a little bit in another part of the city. When we started this trip, so when we left Berlin in September, originally we had a goal to travel to Asia without planes. When we thought about Asia, it was like India or Thailand, so we wanted to reach these countries without planes. But because of the pandemic, most of the borders were closed, so we couldn't do it. So we basically kinda gave up on this goal. And today we've been to Asia.
We just realized that this boat literally brought us to Asia, which means that we reached our goal. We used no planes to go there, but obviously we should have formulated our goal more clearly.
So usually I'm not a big fan of falafel, but this one was an exception. It was so juicy, so delicious. Probably the best I've ever had. We also met a fun guy from Germany and right now we're gonna go and hang out with him. In my experience, when you travel with friends, you don't talk to the locals that much as if you're traveling alone. The same happened with us. We were mostly hanging out with foreigners who explored Istanbul like us. This is how we met Sammy from Germany. He did an exchange semester in Istanbul and now is visiting some old friends here. He knows a lot about the city and that's why he showed us some hidden gems of Istanbul. And guess what? The first thing he decided to show us was the store with stolen brand clothes. Obviously. So he brought us to some sketchy underground store and there are a lot of clothes here. They're not fake, so I think they're probably stolen. Anyway, it's so cool to hang out with people who know about the city, because otherwise we would not find this place. After that, he took us to the best baklava place in Istanbul, and it was so delicious. So we got a baklava burger with pistachios. Wow, that's literally the best baklava I've ever had. It's so juicy, so delicious, and it has like some specific nutty flavor. I don't know, it's so good.
As the sun goes down and all the city lights turn on, the noise of the streets only gets louder and turns into a hum. The city becomes even more mysterious and orientally fabulous. Well, I'm not sure if it's the right word, but I guess you get the point.
We came to the Bosphorus and there are so many different interesting things. For example, Odessa restaurant, or warm baklava, or fresh mussels, coffee, juice, live music, and everyone wants you to try all of these things. But we are so full we cannot eat anything. They say maybe you can find just a small free space in your tummies.
Well, there are not only positive things about Istanbul. Here is just a pile of trash floating around, and there fishermen get some fresh fish from here. And you can get it cooked right here. The good thing is that it's very cheap.
This is a very long bridge and look how many fishermen you can see here.
The next morning we were woken up by the noise of helicopters. A few police helicopters circled over the old town, and probably they were tracking a thief or murderer, who knows. Without thinking too much, we decided to go for a walk.
Трехэтажный домик для котиков.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cats. So it's our 5th day in Istanbul and unfortunately the last sunny day for the next week. So we just decided to go out and walk around our neighborhood. We're just walking around and exploring some cute stores.
There are thousands of shops in Istanbul, and apart from the traditional stores where you can buy Turkish baklava, fruits, textile and souvenirs, you can also find some cute little shops, art studios, hipster cafes and all that what nowadays makes a modern hip city. We've already seen a couple of times that from the windows hanging these buckets and then people put there some food. We have no idea what is that. If you have any ideas, please write them in the comment section. In Turkey you always have to bargain about the price.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and
We are sitting in a restaurant, we got some discounts, some free food, found some new friends. Everything is just perfect.
Yeah, because my passport will finish.
Literally, on the last day of our stay, the city decided to surprise us. For the first time in several years, it snowed in Istanbul.
It turns out that the weather can be like that in Istanbul too. The weather feels more harsh even though it is not cold as in Russia or Ukraine. The snow is falling and melting immediately. All our clothes are just wet.
But the scenery is very beautiful. I don't think this city is made for the snow. Snow in Istanbul is extremely rare. And what impressed us even more was the fact that snow doesn't make the city grey or more boring. Exactly the opposite. It only emphasizes the vibrancy of the city and makes you enjoy Turkish tea rituals even more. Having spent over 2 weeks in Istanbul, we began to understand the city a little bit. How do people live here? Why some things are done in this way and not in another? Me and Adelia came to the conclusion that Istanbul is an ambiguous city that is definitely worth a visit. When we were leaving the city, we had a feeling that we will come back again for sure, and maybe even more than once. If you watched the episode up to this point, then, well, hopefully you enjoyed it. So we would really appreciate if you like and comment this video, and subscribe to our new channel. Anyway, thanks for watching and see you soon!